This dog was desperately digging through the rubble, its paws already bleeding, yet it refused to stop. It even called its 3 puppies to help dig alongside it. Every 5 minutes, the dog would bark into the debris, trying to wake its buried owner. Finally, the young owner slowly opened her eyes. Hearing the constant barking from outside, Anna's consciousness gradually returned. She turned to look at her grandfather, trying to wake him up. Seeing this, the dog Mary barked even more urgently, but grandfather wouldn't wake up no matter how hard she tried. Mary suddenly heard something and quickly left the ruins, running at full speed. Following the shout she heard, she reached 2 rescue workers and grabbed their clothes tightly. The rescuers thought Mary was just playing with them and pushed her aside, but Mary refused to leave. One man, noticing this unusual behavior, crouched down and asked Mary if her owner was trapped. Mary's expression was grave as she turned and ran back. Seeing this, the 2 men immediately followed. Mary quickly led them to her owners. She barked at them continuously, signaling there were people under the rubble. The 2 men immediately began rescue operations and soon discovered the grandfather and granddaughter inside. Given the urgency, they didn't hesitate and immediately started the rescue, clearing away the debris pinning them down. Mary watched and barked once in gratitude. A helicopter received the distress signal and immediately flew to Mary's location. By then, the grandfather and granddaughter had been rescued. The rescue helicopter arrived quickly. Inside was a boy who was extremely emotional. Below were his grandfather and sister. The helicopter slowly descended, extending rescue ropes. The rescue team secured the grandfather first and lifted him into the helicopter. When it was Anna's turn, she cried and refused to leave, wanting to take Mary with them. But due to the grandfather's critical injuries, the soldiers had to prioritize saving human lives. Anna broke down in tears upon hearing this. It meant leaving Mary behind. Anna was heartbroken, crying out to Mary. Mary also begged Anna to take her along, but Anna was powerless. Mary's figure grew smaller and smaller as Anna was successfully rescued. The helicopter immediately turned toward the hospital. Seeing this, Mary desperately chased after them, following the helicopter closely. Despite her injured paws, Mary couldn't care less. She just wanted the aircraft to stop and take her along. But the helicopter flew faster and faster. Mary, exhausted, stopped and watched the helicopter disappear into the distance. Mary firmly believed her owner would come back for her, so she chose not to leave the ruins, continuing to live there with her puppies. But difficulties soon arose. Everything was in ruins. They had almost nothing to eat, let alone with 3 hungry puppies to feed. Anna was listless at the shelter, constantly missing Mary. Her aunt saw this and tried to comfort her, but Anna became even sadder, tearfully asking her aunt if Mary and her puppies would have food to eat. Her aunt reassured her not to worry. Mary was a mother who wouldn't let her children go hungry and would find a way to survive with them. The aunt wasn't wrong. A mother's love drove Mary to search desperately for food for her puppies. She found half a bag of dog food, but when she turned around, her puppies were in danger. A flock of crows was attacking them. Mary, as their mother, immediately rushed over. During the confrontation, she was accidentally scratched on the face by a crow, but to protect her children, she didn't back down at all. The crows were eventually driven away. Yet Mary couldn't feel happy, knowing greater dangers awaited them. To ensure her puppies could eat as much as possible, the starving Mary gave them all the dog food. But this meager amount was far from enough for the growing puppies. Mary had to try other methods. She lay low on the ground, attempting to hunt some pigeons nearby, but she was already exhausted and couldn't catch even a feather. Mary then turned her attention to the ruins. She found a refrigerator and finally managed to pry open its door with all her strength. But once inside, Mary got trapped. Fortunately, after struggling, the refrigerator fell and the door broke open. Even so, she only found a single sausage, which the puppies devoured instantly. What made things worse was the heavy rain that night. Homeless, they could only huddle under the ruins, shivering from the cold. Mary knew clearly that if this continued, they wouldn't survive until their owner found them. If the owner wouldn't come looking, then she would go find the owner herself. The next day, Mary picked up the toy ball her young owner had given her and set off with her puppies, but she had clearly underestimated the difficulty of this journey to find their owner. While the puppies were drinking water, a violent tremor suddenly struck. A large tree was about to fall. Fortunately, Mary reacted quickly and successfully avoided the danger. Mary didn't know what other challenges they would face. She only knew she had to return to her owner's side. Even when it rained heavily, nothing could stop their journey to find their owner. But fate played another cruel joke on them. As they crossed a bridge, an aftershock suddenly occurred. The bridge instantly collapsed, and before they could react, they fell into the rushing river. Fortunately, they weren't swept too far away. But after rescuing the last puppy to shore, Mary, who hadn't eaten for days, had reached her physical limits. Despite her desperate desire to find her owner, she was simply too exhausted. How she wished to see her owner once more, but now she could only collapse weakly on the ground, slowly closing her eyes. At that moment, she remembered every moment of meeting her owner. Mary had been abandoned shortly after birth when she happened to meet the 2 siblings. Seeing how adorable Mary was, Anna immediately picked her up. Upon learning Mary had been abandoned by a family, Anna wanted even more to take Mary home. But her brother knew this was impossible because their father was terrified of dogs. Seeing this, Anna had to give up. But as soon as they left, Mary followed them. To shake off Mary, the siblings started running. Just when they thought Mary hadn't followed, they turned to find Mary had taken a shortcut and was right in front of them. This made Anna determined to adopt her. They found their beloved grandfather for help. Grandfather held Mary in his arms and secretly brought her home, but their cautious father still discovered her. This terrified the father, who opposed Anna adopting Mary. Father and grandfather even had a big argument about it, because grandfather was old and the children's mother was long gone. Raising a dog dog would undoubtedly increase the family's burden. Hearing this, Anna said, "We can't have a dog because Mom died?" These words immediately plunged the father into deep guilt, as his years of work had made him neglect his love for his deceased wife and children. After dinner, Anna disappeared. Want to know what happens next? Follow me, and I'll share the rest of the story soon.